Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina. Thank you so much for being here. So I have been scrolling through my YouTube feed and I see all of these hauls, like so many, like everybody. Like I spent $500 at Sephora or like a Shein haul or this or that. And I'm just like, like dear influencers, stop with the hauls. So it's like, I need to make a video on this. I can't be the only one. And I took some time to write down, Nessie's interested. I took some time to write down like reasons why I think hauls are just such a waste of time, of money, of energy, of your time as a viewer. Like, let's be real. This is a community of grace and kindness, but it's also honesty and it's reality. Like, this is not some fake influencer page. This is me sharing my real life with you guys who are living your real lives. And spending $500 at Sephora, great if that's real life for you, but I would say for most people that I know, that's not real life. So I just kind of wanted to talk about, you know, how that affects people, how it affects your mindset, and why it's just not content that I want to be consuming. And I don't think that anybody really needs to be consuming content like that. So the first point that I want to make about haul content is that it's exceptionally wasteful. You probably have seen pictures of like landfills filled with clothing. Like, if you're doing a clothing haul or a haul in general, like, we have so much waste in our world we just don't need anymore. And the reality is a lot of those products and a lot of products, especially mainstream products like Shein, things like that, it's cheap, but it's made with slave labor. Like, they don't call it sweatshops for nothing. It's sweatshops because people are working themselves to death, working themselves way too hard, and malnourished, underpaid. It's a sad reality. I think like our world is too big at this point that we do need manufacturing, but we also just have to be mindful of what we do as consumers and how that contributes to society. So it's extremely wasteful to have that much clothing and to just throw it out or never wear it, or it's eventually going to be thrown out. Like, when you die, what happens to everything that you own? If you've accumulated 10 houses of stuff, like, where does it go? It goes in the trash, and then somebody that's still alive is just buying more stuff. Like, it's just such a waste. It's really inconsiderate, I would say. I truly believe, like, take what you need, and maybe if you have the freedom, take a little bit more, but there's no reason that anybody needs excess anything like that. So it's just absurd to me that that's portrayed as reality. And it's wasteful in money. So, like, you as a consumer, we are so conscientious of what we spend our money on. I mean, like, how many times do you look at reviews of products? Like, I think that's pretty standard for people to look at reviews nowadays. Like, that's a form of being conscientious of how you're spending your money, right? Like, why would I just go out and mindlessly blow $100 to $1,000, maybe even more than that, in things for a YouTube video, or in things that I'm going to try on once and show you and then I'm never going to wear again? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why am I going to waste my money? Like, I get it. There's big influencers who bank on views like that, and there's enough people that are looking for content that they're going to watch it. And if you're already an established person, then sure, but like, why do these influencers who already get sent so much free stuff have to go out and do these giant hauls? Like, come on, like, you have enough to create content. Like, why do you have to find this weird, oh, well, I'm gonna buy everything in the store and show it off to you? Like, I'm a firm lover of creators like Mr. Beast because there's some kind of philanthropic motive behind it. Like, it's like, I bought an entire Walmart and donated it to charity or whatever he has. And that makes sense. Like, go buy an entire Walmart, go give it to the people who need that, who need the clothing. But like, to buy a whole bunch of makeup, $500 of it, try it on, and then, you know, you've already used it, it's not sanitary. What are you gonna do with that? I mean, you could give it to somebody, but there's just a lot that goes into it, and it feels so worldly and so self-absorbed and so fake. I'm just like, I don't want to see this kind of content. I don't personally. Now, you're entitled to your own opinion. This is a civil place, but I don't personally want to consume that as a lower to middle class United States human being, American, whatever. Like, that's not my reality. And it just is so like mentally self-absorbed. And I'm just sitting here in front of a camera, like showing off everything that I bought. Like, I'll get into that a little bit more, but it's also just long-term not sustainable. I just don't think that we're building real, genuine communities that represent good qualities when we're creating content like that. Hauls are great. No, actually, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I don't think hauls are that great. And I don't think that you need to be wasting your mental space on something like that. Here's my next point. Hauls are unrealistic. Like, maybe you live your life like that, and that's totally cool if you live your life like that. Everyone is entitled to live however they want. However, I want to assume that me, myself, my people I surround myself with, my family, like, people don't live like that. Like, the everyday average human is most of the time just trying to get by. So to sit there and stare at a screen watching somebody else fill their lives in their house with all of these materialistic items, like, I can't relate to that. That's not me. That's not what I do in my free time, and it's not something I'm going to be doing anytime soon. That's just not my reality. So like, why would I watch that? Like, what purpose does it serve for me to consume content like that? And I want you to think about that as you see content like that. If you like watching it, totally cool, but like, what kind of purpose? Is it just entertainment? Like, does it really add value? I think like we have to be mindful. Here's my next point, is that it sets unrealistic expectations. You, as a YouTuber, large or small like me, we are held accountable for what we put on the internet. And therefore, we have to be aware that there are going to be younger kids, elementary school, like obviously, like not like kids YouTube, but elementary school, middle schoolers, high schoolers, young adults. We have people who are being influenced by the content that we create, big or small. I don't care if you have one subscriber and it's your mom. That person, they're watching their content, they're being influenced by you, consciously or subconsciously. And we'll get into that too. But when you're filling your house and you have a little kid, or you have a middle schooler, or you have a high schooler that is like, I'm watching this content of somebody that's buying $500 of Sephora makeup, for example, like, that's setting very unrealistic expectations for what they need to be spending their money on, because you do not need to be spending your money on that. I think also, just going with the idea of makeup, it's also telling them that they have to cover up themselves expensively. I just personally don't believe in that. I think makeup's great. I wore makeup starting in middle school because of insecurities. So I understand like that there is a place for makeup in younger generations, but there's no reason that these young generations need collections. There's no reason that they need collections of clothing. It's just, you're never going to actually use that much of anything. Clothing, I mean, you could, but like, I'm gonna say unrealistically, you're probably not. Like, there is no reason that would make sense for a younger generation or for even an adult. So why are we filling their heads with unrealistic expectations of what their life should look like and what they want to be? Because we do not need to be teaching people that to be happy or to be successful, consciously or subconsciously, that they need to have more. And instead, we need to be flipping our mindset and our perspectives to understand that whatever we have in life is what we are dealt, and therefore either we work hard to move forward from whatever we have experienced that has made us who we are up until this point, and there's not a single amount of anything that you can own that's going to make that better or is going to make your situation different. There is absolutely no reason that anybody needs anything like that. And there's no reason that we need to be making it seem like that owning all of that is going to make your life better, because it's not. So I want to go like into like the subconscious negative effects. So that brings me to my next point, is the subconscious negative effects of hauls. It makes people wish that they had what you have, which envy, jealousy, whatever you want to call it, lust, that is always going to be a reality. However, we are knowingly, as influencers, as YouTubers, as content creators, you're making that decision. Like, you can review it, you can try stuff on, it might be cute, it might be for entertainment, but I truly believe subconsciously it is making that person wish that they had that, and therefore they feel like they're not enough because they don't. And that is not healthy. That is not the reality. Like, I want you to know that there's not a certain amount of anything that you could ever own that makes you valuable enough. You in your own right, no matter how amazing you are, how much you've sinned, like there's no amount of greatness, societal greatness that you can have, or lack of societal greatness that you can have, that's going to change your value. You are valuable in and out, and you have worth, and you are enough, no matter how much you own, how much money you make, what standard of living you have. Does not matter. If you can think of something in your mind that you say makes you not worth enough, you're wrong. And I hope you know that. You are so wrong, and you are so loved. So when we are putting, oh, I have all this, and this makes me happy, and I'm rich, and I'm wealthy, and I have 1 million subscribers, and life is so good because I can spend $100,000 on a car, like, that is great, but these hauls are intentionally spending and splurging in exorbitant amounts that just make people feel negative, like subconsciously. Now, if you feel differently, if you think hauls are very positive, please, like, I'm here for civil conversations. I love this kind of stuff, so feel free to comment below. But in turn, I truly believe it affects the human mind, and it causes resentment. It causes just like anguish and turmoil, and just it's really, there's no good thing about it, in my opinion. I also want to note, like, content like that, when we're talking in a sustainable standpoint, not from like an environmental sustainable standpoint, but from a long-term just like optimization, YouTube branding side, business side, it's repetitive. Like, it is so repetitive, and it's not sustainable to build a YouTube channel like that unless you're doing something philanthropic with it, like Mr. Beast. But if you're somebody who constantly spends money on hauls, like, if you think that's what people want to see and to consume and to fill their minds with, you are mistaken. There's no true value in content like that I can imagine other than entertainment. People consume content, yes, to entertain, but at the same time, there's a massive shift of people that want content that provides them value, and hauls just don't provide value. Sure, and an entertainment point is great. And I think the concept of hauls trick you into thinking that there's value because there's a monetary number, or just a number that is associated with it, and that is not true. Just because somebody spent $1,000 on clothing does not mean that that video has more value. In fact, it just makes it more worthless to me, because what kind of real impact does that cause in my life, other than maybe just checking out on social media? However, there is so much content to be consumed on social media that there are other ways to check out, and I don't think that you have to do it through watching hauls. Like, if you want to check out, go scroll through TikTok, scroll through YouTube Reels, go scroll through Instagram. Like, there's a lot of other things that I can do to check out instead of just watching somebody unbox $500 of clothing that I'm never going to see that. Like, that's not my reality. I'm never going to be like, oh, like, they bought $500 of H&M clothes. Wow, I'm gonna go out and buy the same clothes. Like, that's not going to happen. There's just no point in filling your mind with that, and I truly don't believe that the average consumer wants to see that anymore. So why are we creating it? Why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our money? When are people going to be held accountable for creating content that is actually reasonable to consume. Like, how am I going to justify watching something like that? Like, there is no justification. Like, why am I spending my valuable time that I could be watching something that's productive, that makes me feel good, that adds value, that I can learn from, that makes me think in a different perspective? Like, there are a whole bunch of other things that I could be doing, and I'm sitting here watching you unbox $500 of clothes. Like, no thank you. So a huge thing that I want, like, and going back to the repetitive part, like, I see this all the time. I see so many hauls on YouTube and they still get so many views, which is fine. I don't care if they get 1 million views, but like, everybody's doing this. Like, I see all these major influencers back to back to back to back to back on my feed, and I'm like, YouTube, stop showing me this on my algorithm. I don't want to see this. I'm so tired of seeing this. It's all the same. It's not going to change. It's all the same. So it's repetitive to watch. It doesn't add value. Here's what I think is so important to remember. Extreme consumerism is very unnatural. It is so unnatural for us as humans who are biologically made to be hunters and gatherers and to love one another, to just accumulate all of this stuff, just houses full, like bags full of so much stuff. It is so unnatural. And it feels unnatural watching it. Whether you notice it consciously or subconsciously, I watch that stuff and I'm just like, wow, this feels like a waste. And I finish that kind of content and I don't feel any better about my life. I don't feel good. It doesn't feel like I just spent my time in a productive way. And so I want to remind you guys that extreme consumerism, watching or participating, is a wasteland of disappointment, because you are never, ever, ever going to gather or accumulate enough stuff, no matter how amazing the marketing is, no matter how wonderful the product is, that is going to make your life feel fulfilled. I want to repeat that again. There's not enough items in the entire universe that is going to make your life feel fulfilled. And therefore, we cannot put our hope in that. We cannot put our mindset into that place. That is not reality. It is not healthy. And you're going to be surrounded by success, worldly success and worldly fulfillment. And you're going to be like, my life sucks. I am sad. I lost my friends. My family doesn't even know who I am. This isn't true to me. I'm just accumulating all this stuff. It's so, I've seen it. I've lived it. Like, I'm not just saying it because I Googled it and then I was like, let me make a YouTube video. Like, I'm telling you this because I have experienced firsthand what extreme consumerism does to a human. And it will never make you enough because you're already enough. It will never add value to your life like you think it will. And it will never fulfill you. I truly, truly want to encourage you, if you're looking for fulfillment, find it somewhere else. My encouragement is in Jesus. I know everybody's not like that. Jesus for me, hobbies, trying new things, learning, go out, make friends, go donate your time with foster kids, go work with the homeless, do something. I guarantee you, like, giving your time to something more valuable like that is not only going to absolutely bless somebody else, or even if it doesn't, but it's going to add value to your life in a new way by learning new skills, being outside, gardening. Like, go do something. Go do something. It's going to change your life. Stop sitting there and scrolling and watching hauls. It's a waste. And you're going to be disappointed. And I just want to close out with the flashy side of YouTube is so unhealthy. And I want you to know, if you're a human who is trying to break into YouTube because you love content creation, or you just love YouTube, or whatever it might be, or you want to inspire people, or you want to share your business, or whatever it is, don't think that you can't break into YouTube because you don't have the equipment, the money, the time. I understand the time one. The time one can be hard sometimes, especially if you're a parent. I can only imagine. But when we're doing these giant hauls, it's making people think that, like, oh, well, if I want to be as big as so-and-so, I need to spend all of my hard-earned money on buying clothes and making a video about it. No, 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 no. You don't need to create content like that. You don't need to spend money to create content. Do it if you want to. I do spend money to create content, but not to create content, but because I was gonna buy it anyways, and I enjoy reviewing it for you. I truly do this out of passion. And when it starts to feel like too much, then I take a step back, and that's totally cool. But don't feel like you can't break into becoming a YouTuber because it's oversaturated and because you don't have the money to spend in it because you want to create content like this. This is not the content that's sustainable, so you don't need to be creating it anyways. Do what you love, do it, and create a community. You can do this. You don't need $500 of Sephora makeup to make a YouTube video. Stop spending money like that, girl or boy. Stop doing that. Don't waste your time. So it's discouraging. Hauls are discouraging in so many ways. And don't spend your hard-earned money for content, especially haul content. Don't do it. I'm gonna close out with, there's not a single reason we should be encouraging hauls at such a high level and so frequently. Hauls do not encourage mindfulness. I can totally understand and respect like a Black Friday haul or a Prime Day haul, or if you go on, a yearly shopping spree or for your birthday or whatever. But there is no reason that we need to be doing hauls so frequently. There's no reason that monthly someone should be spending hundreds if not thousands of dollars to make a haul video. Absolutely wasteful, and I see them way too frequently. If you are making haul content, do it once a year or twice a year. There's literally no reason to be spending money at such high amounts so frequently. Keep in mind of the content you consume. This is something I've preached before, whether it's marketing, YouTube, social media, it could be anything. Like you see content on billboards, that's content. Be mindful of what you consume and how it affects you mentally, because it does. And I want you to know that here, Kindly Christina, my community, I love you and I care about you. And I want you to take off the scales to content that you see online, because it ain't real and it's not reality. Some of it is. And there are some really great content creators out there that I love and I enjoy, but man, I am so quick to unsubscribe as soon as I see this whole content. Like, I'm just like, I don't need this in my life, and you don't need it either. So I just want you to think about it. Take time. If you don't agree with me, totally cool. I don't hate, I don't discriminate. But if take some time for yourself to think about and be mindful of what you're consuming, because it does affect you, and you might think it doesn't, but it does. And when you become a content zombie of just mindlessly scrolling, waiting for your day to end, like, oh my gosh, I have 4 more hours, what am I gonna do? I could start a book, not motivated, go to the gym, not motivated. Like, it's because we're consuming too much. Stop overstimulating your stuff with emptiness and start filling your mind with goodness. And that starts with your habits, it starts with your mindset, it starts with what you consume already, just kind of filtering and organizing it. I hope I can stay in that content realm for you. But take it day by day. Give yourself grace. Give yourself patience and goodness, and be kind to yourself, and take it step by step. But I wanted to just share this with you because I think it's important and I think the world needs to know. So I love you. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm so grateful for 1,000 subscribers. I could literally cry. You guys are amazing. I started this as a passion. I continue it as a passion, and your goodness to me is never ending and it's overflowing, and I appreciate that so much. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.